What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and we're back again with another OPTC how-to video. And as you can see from the title and the thumbnail, we're going to be working on Whitebeard and Marco. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the character, and we're going to be breaking down what are the best characters to be using with this guy, and how you can best build a team around this character. So he just recently released on Global, and personally, I do believe he is the best legend in the game, even including all characters on Japan. I do think this is the best character in the game. He is able to do anything, and I wouldn't say with relative ease, because there are, pretty difficult pieces of content, but this is the man that you're going to be seeing clear everything in the entire game. So let's go ahead and take this time now to discuss why he is so good. So here we have Whitebeard and Marco. This character is both Psi and an Int character, obviously being a dual character. Whitebeard is a Psi unit, and Marco is the Int character. And when you are the combined character, you have nearly 4,000 health, 1,800 or nearly 1,900 attack, and 513 recovery. So obviously with the cotton candies as well, you'll have substantially higher stats. Now that is only the dual statistics. When they are by themselves, they are a little bit more reduced, but when they are combined, it is insane how much statistics they actually have. Now the captain abilities between these characters do change. So we have the first captain ability of Marco, or this is Whitebeard, sorry. The Psi captain effect is for Whitebeard, and he's going to be a 3.5 attack booster for Psi characters, but he also boosts all other characters by 2.75, and that's what makes this character so great, is even though he is providing a massive amount of damage to Psi and Int characters, he still provides a minor attack boost. I wouldn't even say it's a minor attack boost, he still provides an attack boost to every other color in the game, which makes this guy so good. You can run anyone that you want on this team, and you can still, beat a lot of content, and that's one of the great things about him. If he was restricted to just Psi and Int, I don't think he would be as good as what he is. He still would be freaking amazing, but the fact that he can run anything else that he wants, and they will still get a minor attack boost, is actually pretty good. So on top of this, for Whitebeard's captain effect, he also reduces damage taken by 20%, and Psi orbs will be beneficial to all characters, again making him just an amazing all-round great captain effect. Even if there was just a legend with just that captain effect, that's really good. But then you can go ahead and switch over to Marco. Now Marco is slightly different, being a 3.5 Int captain this time around, and boosting everyone else by 2.75, and then this time, instead of reducing damage by 20%, he gives all characters a 1.25 times recovery boost, which is very useful, because every time you switch, you actually get a recovery orb. So we'll go through that in a little bit as well. He also makes Int beneficial to all characters, so a very similar captain effect to Whitebeard, but as you can see, very minor differences. Now, in order to combine these characters, obviously with the dual unit, you have to activate their special ability. So when you activate the special ability, you'll get this captain effect, boosting Psi and Int by 4.25, which I believe is the equal highest multiplier in the entire game as of right now. Phenomenal captain ability just right there. 4.25 attack to 2 separate colors. Also boost all other characters by 3 times. So this is what I was saying before. Even if they're not Psi and Int, so Strength, Dex, and Quick also get a 3 times boost just with his captain ability, which is great. He then will also boost the recovery by 1.5, and you get the 20% damage reduction. So you get both minor effects from Marco and Whitebeard. So you'll get reduced damage, and you're going to be healing for a lot. And he also makes the 2 orbs in Psi and Int beneficial to all characters. Now this is one of the cool things as well, is that it makes it beneficial to all characters. So not even just the characters that they're going to be primarily boosting, just they're going to be matching all the time for everyone. So that's what makes this guy so good, man, is he can just completely abuse every single character in the game, and you can get around just about anything that you really need to, as long as you have the right units to remove debuffs and stuff like that. The sailor abilities are nothing that amazing, they're just really stat boosts, so nothing really too crazy. Completely resisting paralysis and silence on himself when you limit break him though, that is a very good, very good limit break ability. The fact that he completely resists silence is actually really dope, meaning that you can activate his special ability whenever you want. Now, speaking of his special ability, it will go ahead and max at 16 turns. It will cut the HP of each enemy by 30%, so everyone gets cut by 30%. Doesn't go through barriers, but it's quite fine, because he also recovers 20,000 flat HP. I really wish this was like a multiplier by his recovery, so it would mean that, you'd have to give him recovery candies. We'll go through different cotton candies in a little bit, but recovering 20k flat is really good. In a lot of circumstances, you're going to be having anywhere between 20,000 to 30,000 HP in most cases. So yeah, typically this will be almost a full heal. And also he will randomize all of your orbs into either Psi, Int, or recovery orbs, and will also become Whitebeard Marco for 3 turns. So you get 3 turns of the dual captain effect, which is great, so you can carry it on into different rooms through preemptive attacks. Now, before we go ahead and talk about units that are very good with him, he has the change action, so you can activate this whenever you want, and it will work whether he's a captain or as a sub, and it will go ahead and activate it. It will reduce paralysis and silence or special bind on your entire crew by 1 turn. This is, again, what makes this character so good, is you don't really have to worry about paralysis or special bind that much, because with the amount of stalling that you can potentially get with this character, you can continuously activate both your captain and your friend captain's captain swap every single turn, and every time you do that, you get 1 turn reduction of paralysis and special bind. So with the 2 captains, you can get 2 turns of paralysis and special bind reduced every single turn. So this is amazing. It's so goddamn good. You know, we saw the release of Luffy and Ace, where he had the switch effect to completely get rid of despair, paralysis, and slot bind on himself, and this is again another game-breaking captain swap ability, which is great. He also gives himself a recovery orb, as we mentioned, and he also will make them beneficial to your whole crew for 1 turn. So this works perfectly well with his special ability, so that now recovery orbs are beneficial when you activate the special, and you get a full board of randomization between Psi, Int, and recovery. And when they are the dual captain, Psi and Int are going to be matching, and when they swap, recovery will be matching. So when you swap and then activate the special, you get a full board of matching orbs, 30% health cut, and the 20k heal. So yeah, not really much about this character that I could really say is a true negative. So to completely overhaul this character, he has one of the highest multipliers in the game. He's a rainbow captain. The actual captain swap is amazing for stalling, so you can switch between damage reduction and mass healing, and every single time you swap, you get a recovery orb for healing, which is great. So he's insanely reliable, and his special ability is great offensively and defensively. Offensively, giving you the 30% health cut, which overall means that you are doing lots more damage to the enemy, and also it's really great defensively because you get a whole bunch of healing off of it as well. Now, what is actually bad about this character? Now, for me personally, from the way that I look at it, the special ability, even though it is a decent special, you don't get any boosts from it. So you are relying on your subs to provide your type, your orb, your color affinity, whatever it is. You are relying on your subs to do that, which isn't always the best thing, because if your captain is a unit that provides some sort of mass boost, it does free up a lot of space on your crew for utility-based stuff. But the fact that this character has his own inbuilt sort of utility reduction with his captain swap, and he heals, and he has a really great amount of stall, makes it kind of okay the way that he's built. And he is quite slow, I will admit. He is quite slow in clearing content, because you do like to take your time. You can stall pretty much however much you want on a lot of different stages. And another thing that I will say as well is that his special ability does not remove block orbs. So if you are given block orbs, his special ability will not remove it. So you definitely need to bring someone to manipulate those orbs. So now that we've gone ahead and discussed the character in whole, so you know exactly what we're going into this video, here we have different socket guides that I would suggest for building this character. Now, a lot of people have been discussing recently what type of sockets they should run. I think any of these 3 structures are perfectly fine, so you definitely need Chain Despair and Auto Heal. Now, if you pulled him on his debut Sugo Fest, they actually come with Chain Despair and Auto Heal, so you kind of just have to go ahead and fill out the rest of them. Now, either of these combinations I feel like is quite fine, so damage reduction, recovery up, and cooldown, I believe, are the best sockets to put for the last slot. Now, cooldown is quite good, I guess, because you can go ahead and make him a little bit more faster. You don't have to stall as much. Obviously, his captain, with his special ability, it's a 16-turn cooldown, which actually is quite long, and you need it to go ahead and get the combined captain effect. So typically, you do need to stall for that special. So having cooldown will make it a little bit better, but obviously, if your subs already have it, then that's not really too much of an issue. Damage reduction is still great, because the way the character is built, you won't get any damage reduction when you're the Marco captain effect, so having that on the kit, just giving you the passive damage reduction, is quite useful. But then again, you know, when you are Whitebeard, you do get pretty good damage reduction passively there, but this will just add to that, giving you even more damage reduction. And the last one is recovery up. Now, recovery up is still pretty good, but it does require a lot of your units on your team to kind of run that socket to get the best out of it. So if you guys don't know what this socket does, it basically means that every time you pick up a recovery orb, you are healing for a certain amount extra, which will make him even more better for stalling and stuff like that. I don't think it actually says how much that it recovers for, but let's have a look here. Yeah, so if you get just level 2 will give you 200 extra points. So that's not too bad. So you can run literally like a friend captain and your own captain with this socket, and you get an extra 200 recovery per recovery orb. So it's not honestly that bad. So that might be an option that you might want to opt for. But even if you don't want to put recovery up, you can still have your cooldown and damage reduction or whatever. But either of these socket guides, I would suggest to you guys for this character. And to go on from that, cotton candies. Now, this is a very controversial topic about this character. What cotton candies do you put on this character? Do you put HP or do you put recovery? Obviously, you put attack on this character. That's a no-brainer. But do you put HP or do you put recovery? Now, through calculations that a lot of people have done on Reddit and on Discord servers, and from me personally, from what I've had a look at, recovery candy, I feel, is the safer option to put on this character, because it will add overall more recovery base to your team, which means that when you are Marco, the amount of recovery that you get is ridiculous. The amount of extra recovery you get just from adding 100 cotton candy to your own Whitebeard and Marco. Now, if you just take 100 cotton candies and you multiply it by the 2 Marco captain effects, it obviously doesn't add up to adding that much extra HP recovery, but you have to take it in the grand scheme of things with the rest of your team. And you know, if you do have a lot of extra recovery or a couple of units with plus 100 cotton candy, that extra recovery that you get per recovery orb is going to matter. Now, I personally would say from this point on, you should put recovery candy on your Marco. Even if you didn't put recovery candies on your Whitebeard and Marco that you did pull, it's still fine. You know, he's still like a very, very good unit. You don't really need to worry about him having HP or him having recovery. It really doesn't matter all that much, but I would say the most optimal situation is to give him recovery candies. If you didn't do it, it's not the end of the world, so you don't really need to worry about it that much. Okay, so now let's get into discussing the character itself and his teams, okay? So this is obviously where the bulk of the video is going to be. So in terms of ships, now ships is still a pretty interesting topic. Now there are a lot of different options that you can opt for when building a Whitebeard and Marco team. Obviously you saw that I had there, the Moby Dick is still a very good option, providing 1.5 attack, giving you that extra HP, and even if you start at half health, it's still fine. This character has so much recovery, it really doesn't matter. So I would suggest the Moby Dick is probably the most optimal because you get so much extra health from that. So that's probably what I would suggest most people to be running. Another option is the Zunisha ship. So the Zunisha ship providing boost to Powerhouse and Cerebral, making Perfect easier to hit, making recovery and tandem count as beneficial all the time. This is a very good option, but obviously it is dependent on your units on your crew being Powerhouse and also being Cerebral characters. Now, Whitebeard and Marco are always Powerhouse characters. Marco is a fighter powerhouse and Whitebeard is a striker powerhouse, and when they combine, they are also striker and powerhouse. So you are always going to be a powerhouse character with Whitebeard and Marco, so I feel like the Zunisha ship is still a pretty solid option. It does depend on the crew that you are building though. And also the last one is the Rocket Man as well. Now, a lot of people don't use the Rocket Man anymore, but this is just if you are running pure powerhouse. Now, if you are running pure powerhouse, this is still a pretty decent ship because it gives you so much extra recovery. So it again adds to the amount of tankiness that this character has, though I wouldn't suggest running a pure powerhouse team all that much because they're not really the best teams in the game in terms of utility and getting around certain debuffs and stuff. But those are all options. I do think the Moby Dick is the best all-round option, but if you don't want to run that, you can still run the Sunny or the Dutchman and stuff like that. So there are a lot of options there for this character. So let's start discussing just damage output, okay? So this character, as we already know, he has a 30% health cut with his special ability, so that just inherently enables this team to do a lot more damage compared to a lot of teams, because that means you can enter a fight and use both of these special abilities and you'll cut their health by 50%. So with that alone, that makes this character already pretty goddamn awesome, but there are a lot of different options that you can run. We already know this is a rainbow captain, but you typically want to run more sign-in characters compared to running playing, you know, just a rainbow character, because you want to be running the most units to get the most damage output possible. So in terms of mono int I feel is still a little bit better because of the amount of like powerful units that you can use. So in this situation, we're going to have the double Whitebeard and Marco as the int character, and obviously Akainu and Shanks is one of the best combos in the entire game. It's still going to absolutely decimate a lot of content. So with just these characters alone and these two special abilities active, that's that much damage. Now if you do account for using 2 health cuts, you actually double that damage. So yeah, you can deal some pretty crazy damage output with this guy. Now that is just with 4 characters, right? You still have 2 slots open on your crew to put literally anything you want. So you can go over to the database. And let's say you need someone to remove special bind. You can literally go down here and just search for a silence remover, wherever that is, silence reducer, and sort it by however way you want. So let's just sort it by attack, because that's typically what I do, and just grab any one of these units and chuck it onto this team, and you're good to go. That's one of the great things about this character. You can put a couple units on there for damage output and then put the rest for utility. So yeah, that's honestly one of the best ways to build teams. And you know, just with this alone, that's an insane amount of damage. You can chuck someone else on the team, like I don't know, like Raid Lucci. Maybe I should type in Lucci. Like Raid Lucci, he's a pretty decent conditional booster. Obviously it is dependent on the enemy to be only one enemy on the enemy side of the field, but you can still add a pretty decent amount of damage on top of that as well. Once again, with the double health cut, if you double that damage, that's the amount of damage that he will overall do. But typically on more difficult content, you're probably going to be using one of the Whitebeard and Marco specials on the stage prior to make that stage a little bit easier. So yeah, obviously you might only be getting one of these specials active, but still you're guaranteed to get a full border matching orb with Whitebeard and Marco with your entire team, no matter what color they are, if you do the captain swap prior to activating the special ability. So yeah, that's a pretty good option. You might want to not use this character all the time, and you know, even if you don't have these characters, there are obviously replacements as well for these particular characters. Now we'll go through different colors and stuff like that in a little bit, but like Colosseum Sicilian's really good. He is a 2x int booster, and he also removes block orbs as well, so that is a really good option as well. So you can go ahead and use him. And then someone like Colosseum Neptune. Neptune is a really good option because he is a booster for cerebral and powerhouse characters. All these characters are either cerebral or powerhouse, and even that still gives you pretty decent amount of damage. And then you can run 2 other units, and because you are running cerebral and powerhouse, you could potentially run the Zunisha ship with a team like that as well. But once again, this is just random options that you might not want to opt for, but it's just giving you some, you know, different characters that you could potentially use. Now, aside from int, let's talk about some psi options instead. So for the best psi type booster, it is definitely V2 Cruzan. V2 Cruzan obviously is amazing, being like the polar opposite of the V2 Akainu, giving you the 2.25 type boost to psi and quick characters. And then in terms of orb boost, well, there's actually like quite a lot of options. You can run someone like Zoro Sanji, which is actually pretty good, giving you a 2.25 times orb boost. So you can see 9.8 million to psi, and it does give you so many more options for utility once again. But if you don't want to run someone like that, you can run someone like the new rare recruit Mihawk, who is still pretty goddamn good, being a 2x orb booster, and he also reduces barriers by 1 turn. So this adds a little bit of utility plus damage output. Once again, you get so much extra space, plus you have that much damage output. So it's absolutely phenomenal how much damage you can get with Whitebeard and Marco, as well as having space for utility as well. So it's really, really strong. But some other options that you could run for free to play, I guess you could run someone like Raid Tankman. Raid Tankman's really good. He allows you to basically do lots of different things. He does a type boost, orb boost. He also does a chain boosting, tap timing bonus. He does a lot of different things just with himself. So if you have Whitebeard and Marco and you want to run, you know, a unit that can do lots of different things at once, this is a really good option, because his special ability alone will kind of enable you in a lot of circumstances to just solo bosses, especially if they're int. You can just pop that special and you just do a shit ton of damage. So that is a really good option. Obviously, this is half a team, and you're already doing 3.4 million to int, which is phenomenal to think about. Also, one other option I was thinking about, I don't know how viable this option would be, but to run like a powerhouse, like a mono powerhouse team. So you can run someone like 6+ Judge. If you guys don't know, this character is a 2x type booster to fighter driven and powerhouse, and he also is just an all-round good unit because he provides damage reduction as well with his special ability. So that is an option. And on top of that, if you will need a powerhouse orb booster, you can run someone like Neptune, who boosts the orbs of cerebral Powerhouse, as well as allowing lots of different utility base, so that's good. And then for extra damage output, if you really need it, you can run the Gear 4 Luffy, who is for color affinity, and with these 3 specials active, that's a pretty good amount of damage. And you don't even have to run these characters as the way they are. You can run the int version of Whitebeard and Mako, that is still an option. You can run double int, double psi, mono, or swapping the colors around. You know, you can do lots of different things with Powerhouse, but I don't know how viable a team like this really is. But if you do have to run like mono Powerhouse related content, I guess this is kind of an option that you could opt for. But I don't know, I'm just spitting out ideas to you guys just in case if you know wanted to see what was going on with Powerhouse. And you can run the Zunisha shit with Powerhouse too. So you know, that is just another option, but I would probably more opt for, you know, like a side team or an int team, and then run a couple utility units on the side. So discussing about even further legends that are going to help you out. So if you already have Whitebeard and Mako, what other legends are going to help you out in team building? Legend Garp, I still think, is one of the best subs in the game. He has the ability to do 30% health cut through barriers, so you have double Whitebeard and Mako and Garp as well. That's 3 30% health cutters, with this guy also reducing special bind. So again, if you need someone to reduce special bind, he's probably one of the best units to do so. And he also is a 3 times chain locker, so he himself provides utility, health cut, and also adding extra damage with his chain lock. So I think Legend Garp is a very solid option if you do have him. Legend Judge, either 6+ or the regular Judge, is still a good option. This guy being an orb booster and reducing bind, and the other guy being a type booster as well. So I think Judge is actually a really solid sub option for Whitebeard and Mako, because not only can you run just mono Powerhouse, you can chuck in a couple driven units, you can chuck in a couple fighter units, and they're all going to be boosted. So I do think that Judge 6+ is a very, very viable option as a sub for Whitebeard and Mako. This is also another option too, just providing an orb boost. Legend Shirahoshi, I think, is still very solid too, providing a basic full heal, as well as giving you a full guaranteed rainbow orbs. Yeah, not much else you can really say about Shirahoshi. We already know how good she is. And also V1 Law 6+ is another good Psi or Int legend that can kind of help you out here, because he can allow your Whitebeard and Mako specials to bypass barriers, which overall will be very, very useful. So I think V1 Law still holds up to this day in terms of being one of the better useful subs to use in the game. Now remember, we're talking about just sign Int characters here, but you can use anyone that you want on a Whitebeard and Mako team. I just want to keep reiterating that, because I'm mainly talking about the characters that will enable you to do more damage with Whitebeard and Mako, but like you can literally run anyone that you want. Just want to make sure you guys know that. Now other characters are going to help you out here. Legend Jinbei 6+ is still pretty good too, because when Whitebeard, when Mako is the captain, he is a fighter character, so Jinbei will actually give him a matching orb if you do opt to do that, as well as providing a really good utility, removing the blue shield, increased defense, and % damage reduction. So that's a really good utility option if you do have Legend Jinbei. Another one as well is going to be Mihawk 6+ as well. Mihawk, well, I guess in the same vein as that, I guess we could talk about V2 Doflamingo as well. Even though, as I said, Doflamingo is not a Psi or an Int character, he is going to be boosted nonetheless from this team, and we already know how good Mihawk and Doflamingo are. These characters enable you to beat content so much more easier, and the fact that you can run someone like Law and Doflamingo or Mihawk in the same team is really crazy to think about. So that's kind of a cheese team that you could use to defeat some content, utilizing Law and these two characters. And just to quickly finish off, in terms of sign Int legends that I think are really good for Whitebeard and Mako, I still think V1 Rayleigh is a very solid option as well, reducing bind, despair, and paralysis by 7 turns. He delays and makes perfects easy to hit. So he's just a good utility-ish unit. Removing 7 turns of bind and despair is actually pretty goddamn awesome. So again, it's an option. I wouldn't say it's one of the best options, but you know, if you do get bind and despair for an extended period of time, you could potentially use a character like this to help you out. Okay, so another batch of characters that we're going to be talking about. We're now moving away from legends, and we're going to be focusing on rare recruits and other free-to-play characters. So this guy right here, Coliseum Kid, this man is amazing, because you can use this character on this team to get his damage output from his special ability, and it works so well, because obviously your captain has to be either shooter or striker. Now, when Whitebeard or the dual captain is active, you can use this special. The only time you cannot use the special is when Mako solo is the captain, because when Whitebeard or the dual character is up, it's considered a striker captain. So yes, you can go ahead and use Coliseum Kid to go ahead and decimate the enemy, so that's amazing. And also you can get some cooldown reduction on your characters as well, which will enable the character to be run a little bit more quicker. So Coliseum Kid, even though not getting the full boost, is still a very, very solid option and might be optimal in a lot of cases for the Whitebeard and Mako team. Next we have both versions of Reiju. We've got 5+ Reiju and the regular Rare Recruit Reiju. Both of them are amazing utility characters, and both will get the full effects of their special ability, because it works on either your captain being Psi or Int, obviously Whitebeard and Mako are Psi or Int, and your captain has to be Powerhouse, and they both are Psi, Int, and Powerhouse. So yes, you can get the full boost of these two characters. We have Reiju with really good utility and also provides a conditional boost, and she procs the conditional boost. So 5+ Reiju will enable you not only to get some really good utility, but she allows you to just do so much more damage. So Reiju 5+, a very good option, and then also this Reiju is very good as well, who also reduces paralysis, despair, and also special bind. Like these two characters are so goddamn good. Like it's definitely worth getting a copy of both of these because they both do a little bit more different things. But yeah, these characters are amazing to have on your account for Whitebeard and Mako. And also another option here is Karina. Karina's great because she provides, once again, a whole bunch of utility. She provides all manipulation through getting through block orbs as well, which is obviously what I said before with Whitebeard and Mako unable to remove block orbs. So yeah, having Karina is nice, and she also reduces resilience, which is one of the more annoying debuffs to get around. So having an ability like this on your in your arsenal is really good. I guess if you don't have this character to remove resilience, you can still use a character like Raid Barto, but Raid Barto has a significantly higher cooldown compared to this character. This is obviously a more optimal unit to use, but she's really good, and also she provides a 70% damage reduction for 2 turns as well. Like, yeah, Karina's a very, very good option to run on Whitebeard and Mako. Okay, another batch of characters we're going to be talking about that will help you in team building. This Sanji is pretty good as well, providing a health cut, orb boost, and poison removal. So poison removal is not something that you're going to need all the time, but if you do need someone to remove poison, this is one of the better characters to do it because he allows you to output more damage as well as also reducing the annoying debuff. So I think 20th anniversary Sanji is a very, very good unit. We have 5+ Robin, a very good free-to-play character. I think it's actually the best 5+ unit that you can get, reducing paralysis and silence on herself for 3 turns, as well with her special ability reducing bind, despair, and also special bind once again for 3 turns. So she removes silence on herself and also gets rid of it with her special ability, and also reduces your character's cooldowns, which makes Whitebeard and Mako a little bit more faster. So she is a very good character to use if you are building a Whitebeard and Mako team. Obviously there are other characters that do things that are very similar to her, but obviously this character being free to play, it's very, very accessible. I actually haven't written it down, but this character as well, time skip Nami, very, very good as well. Also, obviously we already know how good this Nami is, and actually a character, I guess you could talk about Legend Nami as well. I completely forgot about Legend Nami. She can allow your team to do so much more damage too, because typically a lot of characters these days will be either Powerhouse, Free Spirit driven, or Cerebral. So the fact that you can have a character like Legend Nami to give you 2 times orbs and 1.75 affinity, like she will enable your teams to just decimate content. Like, she's so good, and also makes Dex beneficial as a sub, meaning your teams will get a little bit more matching orbs. Yeah, if you have Legend Nami and you have Whitebeard and Mako, that's going to be a pretty good combination right there. Another 2 characters here, we've got Rare Recruit Amand, who I think is, if you can run Amand on your team, be very thankful. She is so good. On such a low cooldown to remove 2 turns of barrier, she provides a health cut. Oh, I love Rare Recruit Amand so much. She's such a useful character. And then you've got a character like Baccarat, who is again another utility-based unit that also provides a boost, an orb boost. So I think that she's very good. She reduces attack down, which again is one of the most annoying debuffs in the game. So Rare Recruit Baccarat, very, very good for this team. Chobro, I love Chobro too. I think Chobro is a very, very good Rare Recruit character. He does utility once again, makes him orbs beneficial. He's a chain booster, reducing defense. He's actually really good. You can actually use the combination of these two with Carrot and Chobro, because when you have these 2 characters active, you get the guaranteed 1.75 times conditional boost. So yeah, this is a very good combination that you can run with Whitebeard and Mako, and they both get the full 4.25 times captain effect boost from them. But in terms of some other free-to-play characters, they're going to be really good here. Boa Hancock, the Raid Boa Hancock is very, very good, or obviously the Neo Hancock as well. Both of them are solid options. I do think that the Neo version is a lot better though. She does provide a little bit more boost and stuff like that. Neo Akainu is a very solid option too, providing color affinity, which we haven't discussed that much, but color affinity is a very solid option. You can run like Rare Recruit Hina as well from the what batch was that from? This is the V2 Kuzan batch with the Kainu. Yeah, she's really good for your like a Psi-based team. So yeah, that's an option as well. And also Shirahoshi, Fortnite Shirahoshi I'm talking about here. This is a very good free-to-play character. I didn't actually realize how good she was. She reduces bind, spam, paralysis by 2 turns, and also is a 70% damage reducer. Unfortunately, she does not have a sailor ability that reduces special bind on herself, so, you know, if you're in a really tough situation, you might not be able to use her special. But still, for a free-to-play character, that's a very, very good option for a Fortnite character. Now, there is one more character I want to discuss, and I think it's pretty important to discuss it. Now, if you are choosing to run a team that has lots of Psi and Int characters, a very good character to run is the brand new rare recruit Boa Hancock. This character is going to be so nice. She delays for 1 turn, and if you have 3 or more Int characters on your crew, now obviously you can manipulate your captains to sign Int whenever you want, but this is a good option because she changes block into matching. Once again, one of the good things that Whitebeard and Marco can't get around, and also boost the attack of sign Int by 2 times for 1 turn. So she is going to boost both of the colors that Whitebeard and Marco boosts predominantly for 1 turn by 2 times. So if you are running a team that has both sign in characters, this is a very good character for that, so you can boost your entire team, not just one side of your team. So that is an option if you are running a hybrid team. But other than that, obviously, as I said, you know, this is a character that you can run anyone in the entire game on. They might not get the highest 4.25 boost, but they are still going to be boosted nonetheless. So I would suggest running, you know, a team that has predominantly sign-in characters that provide your major boosts, but you can run anyone that you want to get rid of your utility. So I think that that's a really good option for this character, and I do think that this character is the best character in the game. So I guess that has been it for my full breakdown of OPTC how-to for Whitebeard and Marco. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you guys have enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.